with Chicago Cycling Network. And again, we're just going to keep on bringing amazing, beautiful people here. Disclaimer, guys, this beautiful gentleman right here, he's taken. Leave him alone, all right? He's taken. Anyway, guys, welcome back to the channel. Thank you guys for supporting, helping to spread the word, and just, again, just keep on motivating and, serving as a beacon of encouraging me and having all these aspiring people in Chicago, the amazing people in the network, coming out and sitting down and chatting with me so we can learn about them and just talk about, again, just the beautiful things about what makes Chicago just an amazing place to be. I mean, we have fantastic people, locations to ride, people of different, special places that like to ride, different races. Again, whether you're a commuter, a crit racer, gravel, doesn't matter. You guys are always welcome. And today we have somebody going to talk about several aspects of riding that we never thought about. And I never thought about it until I saw him doing it. I'm like, oh, this is pretty cool. So we're going to learn about him. Just whatever it's out there, he has some things to share with us, and we're going to just keep it going and just keep on having fun. And again, if you guys want to come on the show, just reach out to me at Chicago Cycle Network, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube channel. Just shoot a message and we'll sit down and talk about cycling, because again, we want to highlight the positive nature and things in Chicago that makes it go, and from the beginning, or as I say, from the beginning to now, because people have really put in some work to lay the foundation for Chicago cycling from all different groups, bike shops. I mean, just some great stuff. And you guys have seen some of the other people I've actually featured, and they're just being truly remarkable and amazing in building up Chicago and the network. So again, here today we have somebody who's introduce himself. I want to take the show from there and just learn and have a conversation about what makes this place or this guy so special. So take it away, introduce yourself, and let's go from there.
Well, thank you very much, Omar. Yeah, my name's Tom Fluegge, aka Pelotom, coined by my cousin a few years ago, and just kind of rolled with that. But lived in Chicagoland my entire life, born and raised in Crystal Lake, Illinois. Went to school at Northwestern, have been riding since about 2006. And the term Peloton was just coined during COVID when my cousin got a Peloton bike. And he was like, hey, look, it's Peloton, because everybody knows that I have been riding bikes for a long time. So I just kind of stuck with that and have been rolling with that name ever since. And honored to be a part of the show. I think it's great what you're doing, just introducing kind of everybody out on the internet to the magic, I would say, or the allure of Chicago and the community around cycling here. I feel like Chicago is such a great place because it's so flat. Like, you get people of all different shapes, sizes, backgrounds, all able to ride together in a Peloton, and to kind of be a part of your show here is cool. It's an honor. So thanks for having me. Yep.
Oh, thank you so much for showing up. I mean, we have some big guns, and again, as I said, he's one of them. So I think I got to know about you during COVID, because you were doing something very special on the bike, unique. I've never seen it before. So when you started, I'm like, oh, this is pretty cool. And then I met you some other friends, and then I saw you taking a bunch of comms during COVID. So tell people what that's about. And
So you've probably seen me if you've been out on Monday night rides, or years ago I was doing more Wednesday night rides. But if you get to know me, I'm kind of a technologist. I work in IT. I've always been a computer guy, like introvert by nature. So I'm generally a quieter guy. But during COVID, we weren't really doing a lot of group riding. And so I've always been like into computers, video games. And like I used to stream video games on Twitch prior to COVID, like dating back to 2017. I've been an athlete my whole life. I played football at Northwestern for a couple years. So I have a background in sports. And got into cycling back in 2006. It was like 2 years out of school. I was out of shape. I was looking at myself in the mirror. I went to like an ugly sweater Christmas party, and I looked at a photo. I was like, man, I put on a lot of weight since I played. I don't think I did, actually. So, but I just decided, like, all right, I need to get back into shape. I wasn't lifting. I wasn't really working out. And I bought a bike. I bought a Fluegge Roubaix from Performance Bike at I think it was Diversey in Halstead. And just kind of like on a whim, I was like, I lived in Chicago at the time and started riding a lot. So that was really where my cycling kind of journey started back in 2006. And I got into it a lot. I worked for Medline Industries. I lead our IT teams that support our sales organization there. And through my job at Medline, when I started back in 2011, I met a lot of other cyclists, people that, rode and raced and It was kind of through my time at Medline that I like really got into the Chicago cycling scene back in 2012. So when Velosmith Bicycle Studio opened back in 2011, 2012, I started riding and, bought a few bikes from there. Was doing Judson back in the day, but
Wow.
had kids. So like my time between 2014 to 2020, like things slowed down a little bit, but, it was like leading into COVID that, I was doing a lot of group riding, and then COVID hit, and I was streaming video games. I was debating, like, do I want to continue to do that? Like, I wanted to work out more. I was like, why don't I give this a try to see if I could stream some bike rides? And discovered through the online community, through Discord, that like there's ways to do this. And the technology's evolved so much since 2020. But finally, over many years of iterations, I like figured out how to stream my bike rides. I would stream and send links to guys that I was riding with at the time. And the rest is kind of history. I mean, I tore my meniscus back in 2022, so I had some time off the bike and had some life stuff come up then too. But now I'm getting back into it, and it's fun. It's fun to tinker with cameras, tinker with technology, and kind of like just be able to like share the community around the world. Like I've built up a following on Twitch. It's modest, let's be honest, but
well, I'm a follower for sure, because I used to like chime in your rides. I'm like, oh, what is he doing? I'm like, see you live streaming. I'm like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So I mean, to like meet people that are regulars now when I live stream from all around the world and hear their stories about the community of cycling and talk about the tour and talk about whatever. And like, there's people that I'll watch when they're live streaming their bike rides and stuff. So that's been a unique opportunity to meet people online and just kind of hear different perspectives from around the world. So, yeah, that's kind of the gist of how I got into it. It's fun. I used to be a professional photographer out of college as a freelancer. So played football at Northwestern for 2 years. The story I would tell everybody when they ask about my football career was I was a wide receiver. 2000 was the year we split for the Big Ten championship.
You were fast.
I was like, yeah, I mean, I'm if you want to compare like my speed against other guys on the team, I was always good at the end of practice sprints when everybody was tired, like, which kind of aligns with how I am on the bike. Like I'm pretty decent at endurance, but I was never like the fastest sprinter, like in pure out 40 speed. So my career stat line at Northwestern, I would tell everybody, is I was a wide receiver, and in my career I had 2 catches and I only fumbled 1 time. So that's not terrible. 50% is okay. I would take that in sprint wins on the bike. So so still do some obviously live streaming and stuff now, and been doing a little bit more with like posting stuff on Instagram and whatnot. But for me, like I just enjoy riding and being a part of group rides. Like I really think cycling is such a unique sport where you've got potentially hundreds of people on the road together sharing tiny patches of rubber within inches of each other.
Yeah.
And there's such a great aspect to the culture of the sport, which is like you all are kind of looking out for each other, but you're all kind of being competitive too. And the people you get to meet and the times you get to share on the bike, off the bike, grabbing a beer, or doing like Grand Fondos or going on trips. And I've done a couple awesome like bucket list trips in my day. It's just been really fun. So I'm all about it. I love cycling.
So what bucket list trip did you do?
So I've done 2 things that have been really awesome. So in 2011, I was traveling for work. I had to go out to England, and then I was in France, in Lille, France, actually, for doing some supplier audits. And I took a long weekend and met up with a group and actually rode basically 60 miles of Ghent-Wevelgem, the Tour of Flanders, and Paris-Roubaix that year.
Wow, that's awesome.
And yeah, that was just like one of the most amazing things ever. I stayed a weekend there and had this, this group take me out. Like it was really 4 of us just riding bikes on the cobblestones of France. So that was a pretty special moment for me. Not something, I would have ever imagined doing, getting into it in 2006. And then in 2015, I went down to Richmond for the World Championships when the Road World Championships were there, and actually was able to ride with the Italian national team. So I've got like YouTube footage, or GoPro footage, I should say, of riding with Vincenzo Nibali and the Italian national team, and doing a lap, like a warm-up lap on the course. And that's pretty awesome just to be able to say like I've done stuff like that is pretty neat. So
I can imagine like those are like probably like your top 2 or something like that biking experience. I was going to ask about that, but I think you answered the question already.
Yeah, well, I mean that for sure was. I mean, there's a funny story about me riding with my buddy Dave Marcelletti, who used to work at Medline too. Was a big cyclist. Has ridden for many years, a little bit older than me. Some people might know him, but Dave and I are like riding with the Italian national team on the course. They're doing a warm up, right? And at one point, he and I are sitting behind Vincenzo Nibali and the coach. I think it was like David Ballerini or something. I forget the guy's name. And they pull off and rotate. And so now Dave and I are like the front two of like 20 Italian national team riders. And I just look at Dave. I go, Dave, just take it nice and easy. Don't become the story here. I was like, don't crash. Don't do anything out of the ordinary, because we don't want to become some part of some really horrible story. So that was pretty awesome. And we had like access to a tent on Libby Hill, which is like the big cobbled climb in 2015, and being able to see 16 laps of everybody passing by was truly like a once in a lifetime experience.
Wow, that sounds amazing.
Yeah.
So this I didn't know about. I didn't know about this. So you say you were riding back in the days with Judson.
Yeah, I used to ride Judson back in 2011, 2012. It's hard to think back to those days of skinny tires and rim brakes and everything. But yeah, I was into it a lot. I had my oldest son, James, was born in 2014. So from really 2011 to 2014, I rode Judson a lot. Rode with Velosmith Bicycle Studio. And then James was born in 2015, Henry in 2016, Mara in 2018. And then I moved out to Glenview and started riding with Velo Club Roubaix. They left. They still do leave from like Deerfield and Lake Forest. And,
I've seen those guys. That's so because I'm trying to as I learn about different people and people tell me things, I'm like, it explains like your fitness. I mean, I know you took off a couple of months, years off the bike, but I remember like, man, during COVID, man, this guy was like getting all these comms. I'm like, this is pretty awesome. And so now it explains that you go all the way back to Judson days.
Yeah.
And for guys who are not from Chicago, it's like Judson is like back in the days is like the fast group. If you can keep up with Judson, you're next level, right? I mean, that's like the equivalent of Miami's Don Pond, but for Chicago.
Yeah. Yeah, so, it was a fast ride. So I've hit Lighthouse a few times recently, and I can't hang with the crit bangers when they're on that ride.
I mean, those kids, they're doing some amazing things now. So we're not spring chicken no more.
This is true. I'm not getting any younger, as my hair can attest to.
Yeah,
sure.
And I've noticed like if I were to keep up with Lighthouse or just any group, man, you got to put in some serious miles, because one thing I've come to realize even with my sons, which are like 16 and 18, never underestimate the power of youth.
This is true.
We have experience, but they have strength, and we will never outbeat them.
This is very true.
That's a good thing. So yeah, so you like to you do your Twitch stuff, and so what are some of the cool areas they ride in Chicago? They'd be like, oh man, in Chicago or in the area, it's like these are like my favorite place to ride.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I really actually growing up in Crystal Lake, the riding out Northwest is probably some of my favorites. So like when people like aren't exactly familiar with the Chicagoland suburbs or Chicago in general, I basically describe Crystal Lake as it's like the last suburb before you're pretty much straight up in the cornfields. And some of the riding out there, you get some hills in like Bull Valley. Like that's an area that I love to ride. For me now, it's mostly just, I'm riding up and down Sheridan. I'm doing the usual loop up to Cemetery and Libertyville and whatnot. But I love hitting those roads out in McHenry County, Lake County.
Barrington Hills.
Yeah, Barrington Hills. Those are great. Time's a little bit more limited these days. I'm living closer to the lake, so getting out there is harder in those longer group rides. So I make as much time as I can, but I really love, riding Lake County, McHenry County. Those are some great roads out there. I think like Bull Valley's got like a 25% grade out there if you ever hit that one.
No, not for me.
I forget what the name of the road is, but those are good places to ride. Yeah,
I'll stick to Tower Hill and the rollers. Those are big enough.
That's what's funny when I'm live streaming. I've got people watching from all around the world, and I'll be like, okay, we're about to hit this hill here, and people are like, what hill is that? I'm like, well, it's the Tower Hill Road. This is all we got in Chicago.
And they're like, what?
Yeah. I probably should have brought in like a backpack to show like what all is in my gear that I'm streaming with. But yeah, I mean,
how much pounds does that thing weigh?
I've weighed it before. It's like 6 to 8 pounds depending on what I'm bringing that day. And generally what I've got in there is I've got like a little single board computer that really runs the software that enables the live stream. So you've got that, you've got a camera connected to it, and then I bring like 3 cellular modems that are all connected.
Wow.
And
I did not know that.
Yeah, so you have 3 of them in there, and then you run software that basically takes the cell signal from all 3 carriers. So I've got like T-Mobile, AT&T, and Verizon. and it does what's called bonding, and it, basically allows for, while you're riding, because you're going and moving, like you're changing cell towers frequently, right? And to just use like one cellular connection, it would not make for a good live stream experience. The video would drop out or it'd get pixelated. So when you're taking multiple modems and you bond the connections together, it allows for like a much stronger signal, which makes it, just
More
a better
smooth
overall experience. Yeah.
See, I didn't know, because I'm like, how are you just out there riding, just like live streaming? So now I know, because same reason why, when I used to go camping, and we had AT&T, and we would go in the boondocks of the Palisades or wherever to go camp. All of a sudden, we had no cell phone service.
Yeah, exactly.
So it would be like, this is not working out. So we have to switch to Verizon. Because Verizon typically cover a lot more area.
Yep.
So we had to switch to Verizon. So now, okay. So if anybody wants to start twitching, you need all the cell phone service basically.
Yeah, it definitely helps with making it a better live stream experience.
Could you just call Elon and get Starlink to do all that stuff for you?
Some live streamers do. Like cycling is kind of like the biggest edge case of live streaming, because you're moving faster on a bike. There are guys that do more like I'll call it like touring type of biking. There's a very famous live streamer, Terry Berenson. He's out of New York. He's got a big YouTube channel. He does these hotline videos. He does like tours. He just traveled from, I think it was Amsterdam to Portugal. And I think he had Starlink on his bike, and they were camping and everything. So now that's a real possibility.
Wow.
People have got the satellite, they've got all the batteries and stuff. That's something else you got to carry in your backpack. So yeah, it makes it a little heavier. Actually, I rode Monday Night Ride yesterday, and I didn't bring my backpack. I just brought like my 360 camera. Like, oh, it's nice to not be carrying extra weight.
So maybe they could have a bike with all those things built in them already, like a road bike or something like that.
I mean, it's like the advent of like e-bikes and batteries in the down tube and stuff. Like, you could theoretically see how you get to a point where you could power your live stream equipment off of the battery in a bike. Not that you'd want to ride a bike with an e-bike battery in it, but you probably could hide a battery in a down tube at some point, especially with all the internal storage that they've got these days.
So we had the first idea, and in a couple of years, royalties.
That's right. Live streaming ready bikes. There you
exactly.
go. Yeah.
We came with the idea first. Okay, guys, just let's watch. It's gonna. I remember when I talk about, tell my friends, man, I wish there was an app or something that we could use to tell us like the wind direction and all these different things. And like, it's gonna be too crazy to come up with blah blah. And then literally like 2 years later, it was out.
It's all there now. Yeah.
I'm like, it makes sense. It tells you like where the wind is coming from and where not to go, where to hide, and then it came out. So you never know. These technology, as I say, technology, it's coming. You've seen, so it's gonna happen. So did you ever do any crit racing or any areas?
I never did. So yeah, I mean, when I started
gravel.
I haven't done. I've done like whatever organized rides. I did do triathlon. So I did Ironman Wisconsin in 2010. My
wife did Ironman Wisconsin.
Yeah.
2011?
2011?
I think her medal is somewhere over there.
Very nice. Yeah. That's a hilly course out there for sure. So yeah, I never got into crit racing. I've thought about it. I feel like my risk tolerance, I think I'm good with group rides and just, all right, mixing it up and, maybe not zipping around corners at that speed on a crit race is quite my risk tolerance. But I used to do triathlons from 2007 to 2010 is really when I was doing a lot of triathlons, and I did the Ironman in 2010. Funny story about that. Yeah, 2 days after I completed the Ironman, my appendix ruptured. And I like to think that I was at least a few ounces lighter after that, so maybe faster. But doctors said that there was no correlation between doing the Ironman and my appendix rupturing. I'm like, I gotta imagine there's some correlation.
Yeah. Maybe when you were, because the rule is Ironman, you swim, you bike, and then you walk the run.
That's exactly what happened for me. About mile 2 on the run, I just started getting tunnel vision and realized I did not fuel properly. And at that point, it was just grab whatever potato chips or pretzels I could get at every aid station. Yeah,
so my wife and her father used to do that together, and I'm really proud of my wife. You met her just earlier just now. She's a beast. She did it in 12 hours. So
that's impressive. Yeah,
so she's next level.
Yeah,
a little bit. And now she's trying to get back into the whole biking stuff now. So whenever I make a bike for myself, buy something, I can do the same thing for her, and then we don't get to any problem. So. And
smart man.
I can Zwift for as long as I want, and she can never say I left the house. So that's why I Zwift so much sometimes.
I got you. That's a good move.
Hey,
Yeah.
I never left the house. I've been here all the time in the house. So
Yeah.
there's some of the little things I've learned over time. So any big plans coming for this year? Like,
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, the way I've really kind of approached since I tore my meniscus and back in 2022. I mean, I in 20, was it 2022? Yeah. The last year I got into an accident in Kenilworth, and had my factor frame damaged, and finally replaced it with an Envy frame. I've been fortunate enough to collect on the insurance for that. But my approach to riding these days is really just kind of go with what I'm feeling and just enjoy riding. I have found in the past I have a tendency to like really get into like, okay, what is my form looking like? Is it continuously going up over time? And as I've gotten older and my perspective in life has changed with being injured and things like that, like I'm more focused on just enjoying riding the bike. And I think this year is probably been some of the most fun I've had riding in probably the last 10 years for me. I'm doing more of it, but I'm doing kind of more of what I feel like instead of like, oh, I got to get on the group ride, or I got to make sure I get the miles in so I don't lose the fitness. Like, it's okay for me to like not be always kind of like chasing the next level of fitness. And so I've been doing a decent amount of just light gravel riding, or just doing group rides when I can, or even getting out solo. For me, the most fun riding is really riding Des Plaines River Trail in the fall. I love, like, that is my absolute most favorite thing to do. And we're fortunate in Chicago to have access to that. And being able to ride up to Wisconsin and back. And like, those are some of the most fun days for me when the leaves are changing colors and you're just out there riding and you just hear the crush of the limestone. I mean, it's the best. It's the best. Yeah. So for me, like I took a trip out to Galena earlier this year with a buddy, Ed Rolls, who was another guy. You were live streaming. Did you live stream some of the stuff for that one, or not for that one? I did it when I was in where the heck did I just?
Was it North Carolina, South Carolina?
I was just in Tennessee. Yeah, Tennessee. I was just in the Smoky Mountains and had a chance to climb up to the North Carolina Tennessee border. I live streamed that, but that's an area like, right? So cellular coverage, like when you get into the national parks, like it just goes away. The live stream's done at that point. So, but plan on getting back out to Galena this fall when the leaves are changing. That was the first time I've ridden out there, and I know you've been there. I mean,
I love Galena area, Devil's Ladder and all those places. Elizabeth is nice too. They have like ups and downs. Where else I really like it? I mean, I've done the Stockton area, like the Rafa 10,000 is cover all.
That whole driftless area is amazing. I mean, when I talk to people about riding in Illinois, I talk about the flatlands, but then like having been out there is really an awesome place to ride too. If you got mix of gravel, you got great roads. Did you stop at the Antique Bicycle Museum in Elizabeth? You ever gone in there?
Antique Bike Museum, no.
So in Elizabeth, there is an antique bike
downtown.
museum.
We didn't go inside. It was literally across from where we had lunch. From the ups and downs, but it wasn't open, so we didn't go. We were looking at it. It was like at the same side where we ate, and we were looking at it, but we never went.
Next time you go there, they're open on Saturdays. The guy, I'm forgetting his name. We'll have to post it in the comments or whatever. But Ed and I, when we went to Galena back in May, we made like that. The whole trip was centered around going to the museum. But there's over 1,000 bikes that the owner has. Oh my God! The whole building is like, it's in an old movie theater. So
we're right next to it.
It's one of the most amazing places. And it's just this guy that's been collecting bikes over time, and he fixes them up and puts them on display. But highly recommend checking out the Antique Bike Museum in Elizabeth.
All right. That's on the bucket list, because I can't believe we were right there, because normally we do the ups and downs. And then there's a restaurant that was right there, but it closed. They couldn't sell it. They sell it and it got shut down. So we actually went into town. And we ate at some place that makes their own beer and have some fancy, famous burger. And we added, and then we were right. I was like, look at that bike shop, but we never went inside of it.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
Check it out. God. Yeah, check on. It's on the bucket list.
Yep.
Yeah, and what I like about the area too is like you're in Chicago, and you ride for an hour and a half, but out of that hour and a half, you literally only moving for an hour.
Yeah.
Right? You go to those areas, your start time and your stop time is exactly the same. It's like riding on Zwift, because there's no stoplights, there's no cars, you're just out there and just enjoying Mother Nature.
And it's classic farmland out there too. I mean, you get into certain places where like literally the dogs are running wild.
No, I've gotten chased. I've gotten chased by dogs. As my friend Andrew Van Til says, if you're getting chased by dogs, if you say, "Get," then they will stop. When we were in Prophetstown in 4th of July weekend, me and my wife we went to ride down from Prophetstown towards, I think, where is that? I think it was somewhere down south. And we were coming back and we got chased by this dog and I'm like, no, get. And I was like, this guy is crazy. I'll leave him alone. And he went back on his porch. I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not playing that.
That's what you got to do. Just be loud and try to get them back
Just to
off
stop.
you.
Yeah. And I know sometimes if you stop and try to pet them, they will actually like start wiggle the tail and come to you.
Yeah.
The problem is don't try to outrun them because that's them like, oh, you have something to prove to you.
Take it as a challenge.
As a challenge, yeah.
Yeah.
But no, I get the point we said about us enjoying bike riding now because I think I'm at the same place where you are right now. And maybe it's because, again, we're similar in age. But I just see all those medals behind. Those medals come from years we are running in Miami. And to get those medals, I went from running a 10-minute mile in Miami to putting in the work to run like a sub 5-minute mile. Okay. And I go to the track with my friends, and those guys run from college and all those different things. And I was like, man, somebody go to the track, I can't hit my numbers. I'm like, I get stressed out. I go to a race when it's a certain time. I didn't get the time, but yeah, I was always an age grouper in Miami, when I ran. And then later in my running life, I was like, man, why am I doing this? I didn't make a living from this. So what's the point?
Yeah.
Right? I was going to ride, couldn't afford a bike because I was doing my fellowship with 2 kids, can't afford a bike.
Yeah.
You make like no money. Anyway, moved here and then now we see all these bikes. And then at the end of my running in Miami before moving to Chicago, I was like, you know what? I'm going to ease off this racing stuff and start doing more pacing. So much more fun. Okay.
Yeah.
I was pacing 20-minute 5K, no pressure. I was doing 40-minute 10K, nothing. 130 half, 315 fulls, pacing them, no issue, right? You go to a race and you have to go to the restroom about like 10 times before the race starts because you have all that jittery feeling.
Yeah.
I do pacing, I show up, nothing. So relaxed.
Yeah, I think that's a great approach. I mean, it is. It definitely comes with age and perspective. And like for me, having kids like really puts life in perspective. Like, I mean, having played college sports and like I'm a data technologist guy, like I really get into the data and the analytics and the numbers too. So it's easy to get caught up in that. But I found like, taking a broader perspective as I've gotten older, like what really matters. And to me, it's just like enjoying things, putting out positive vibes. That's part of like what I think is awesome about what you're doing here is just like spreading the positive vibes throughout Chicago and the cycling community here. So that's really kind of my approach is just find ways to enjoy riding, get to meet new people and hear their stories and all of that.
Yeah, you can't put a price on that. Okay, that is priceless. And again, this is why I'm doing what I'm doing. People say, "Oh, you should race because you're strong." I'm like, for what? I have nothing to prove. I prove everything to myself already that I need to prove.
Yeah,
and I was just enjoy myself.
Exactly, and to me, there's nothing wrong with also racing. If that's what you're into. I love that Chicago Grit's going on now. I've gone to it the past few years and. Like the allure of racing and riding bikes, like I love that stuff. For me, as a soon-to-be 43-year-old, I have 3 of my own. My fiance Jess has 3. We're a Brady bunch in the house together. I'm like, if I were to wipe out and throw out my shoulder or break something like that, that's a risk I can't take.
This is, and again, this is the same argument I use. Yeah, it's right. You have 6. I keep on telling people, like, look, my family depends on me. Okay, I'm the earner in this family. If something should happen to me, it's over. And I've seen a friend of mine who went through that. And it was not good for him. Okay, his mental state was like, "Oh my God, man! I got my kids, and I can't do anything." And I won't call his name, but you know what I'm talking about. And I learned from that. Yeah. The good thing is, life gives you examples to live by through friends. Sure. And I learned from them. Like all my friends, I don't realize that indirectly they're my mentors because they make mistakes. I'm like, you made a mistake, I should make a mistake again. Yeah. And again, I'm not going to try to go out there and race a crit and at my age and break something and then can't heal forever. I'm not trying to be Christopher Reeves. No, I will just watch you guys have fun and go there on the Wednesday night ride or Lighthouse and keep up. But we know we're not trying to kill each other. Yeah. And those rides, but in grit and in those crit races, people want to win. Yeah. And they will do stuff to win. I mean, having never raced in that manner, like I know what I might be doing on a hard group ride doesn't compare to what's going on in a crit race. And I think that's one of to me, like the sport of cycling is truly beautiful. I mean, like we talked about sharing the road and being that close with people, but like the suffering that takes place in cycling, like you think about what people are doing during the tour. Yeah. You think about what people are doing to race and the pain that they put themselves through. Like
there's truly like a beauty and a bond in riding with people, and all knowing you're suffering for the sake of a good ride, or for the sake of like creating an experience, or like you're climbing a mountain or you're climbing a hill somewhere and like you're just dying. Like there's beauty in that suffering. And so I feel like the sport itself is really just, there's nothing really like it. Having played like team sports and stuff, cycling's like, it is a team sport. It's also like chess on wheels, and there's just such a beauty about it that, you know, like when Jess and I met a couple years ago, and I obviously am big into cycling. She started watching Tour Unchained on Netflix and everything. Like seeing people learn a sport and appreciate the beauty of cycling to me is like,
oh yeah,
it's so awesome.
Yeah, I'm watching. Is it season 3 now?
Season 3, yeah.
I'm watching it, and man, when those guys talk and see people crash, I'm like, I connect because I understand, right? When I see the grimace in their face, I'm like, bro, I know what you're feeling right now. Like I am getting goosebumps, and I'm like, man, to see all that stuff. And I always say to myself when I'm out there, you know, when I'm pulling and, you know, trying to do my best or in a sprint, I'm like, guess what? If I'm hurting, everybody's hurting.
That's right.
Because we all function on the same physiological principles with chemistry, biology. Nobody is like, so there's anomalies like Tadej Pogacar, but we're all hurting, man. We are hurting.
And that's the time to go, is when you're hurting, everybody else is hurting. If you can overcome that, like, that's the time to go.
Who can hurt more? And then let's keep it pushing. So the tour is on now. What are you rooting for?
I mean, I really do like Jonas. Unfortunately, it's not his year. I mean, it's just clearly that Pogacar is on a whole nother level. I think all of UAE is on a whole nother level, which is probably a separate conversation as to whether it's legit or not. But I've been a Visma fan for a while. I would say like Wout is my favorite rider. So like I'm 6'3", you know, I'm like 195 pounds now. So I like the classics. Those are my favorite style of races, having ridden Roubaix and Flanders. Like I really get into March, April timeframe. So I'm always cheering for like the domestiques or the guys like Wout to win a stage or do whatever. And I feel like Wout's 2021 win on Ventoux, where they went up it twice, like just proves what a classy rider he is. Unfortunately, he's not the greatest classics rider of his generation with Van der Poel in there. But, you know, I love the years 2010, 2011, when you had Bonin and Cancellara trading blows every year. And it was like, who's going to win? Who's going to whatever? So it's Tadej's year. Nobody's going to beat him. I just don't see that happening. But I hope, you know, in years to come, there'll be a little bit more back and forth. Yeah. How about you? Do you follow the tour?
Yeah, I am following the tour. And I don't know. There's just something about Tadej's energy, spirit, his aura that draws me to him. I just like him because of that. I mean, and just to see how he talks and treat people, it says a lot to me. So I
think he's great for the sport.
Without even having never met the guy, but just seeing him on TV and this way he talks and this way he interact with this things around him. Yeah. Not even people, just things around him. I'm like, I like this guy. Even if he wasn't the best cyclist in the world, and I saw him in the street, I met him in some random place, I'm like, I like this guy.
Yeah. He to me, I think he's a great ambassador for the sport. I mean, he's obviously once in a generational talent from physiological standpoint and his capability. But I do think he truly has a respect for the greats and the history of the sport and how he carries himself, and kind of like, I don't know, I think he's a good face for the sport. I do wish the sport was a little bit more competitive at that level to keep it more interesting for the fans. I think the third week of this tour is kind of is going to be a snooze fest.
I mean, today was Jonas was doing his thing, but Tadej was like, hey.
You're not going to gain 4 minutes on me.
Exactly.
You know,
and now at the end, he's like, okay, 2 seconds. And just keep on opening and just keep on doing what he's doing. And I mean, for Tadej, he's just to win, right? So now he's just basically in safe mode now.
Yeah.
You don't have to win on a stage. Just keep what he's doing and keep on finishing in the top 10 and he's just win, and that's it. But I know, of course, you want to win another jersey so you can try to get the record, like, sir.
I think that's, I mean, what is he at, 21 now? And he's like not even 30 yet. So
no, he's at 22.
22 stages now. It'll be really interesting to see how, you know, how soon he comes to Cavs now record.
Because he's what, 26? He's 26?
I think he's 26.
26. Yeah. So he hasn't been like 2 good years in him, maybe.
Yeah.
Because I mean,
we'll see.
Because you got these little young kids like 21, and you know they're. I mean, look at Mathieu van der Poel. I mean, to me, I think he's older, and his kid is so amazing, so strong. So hopefully we can have from Chicago, which I called his name when I did my interview with him, Philip Kamaya.
Mm-hmm.
That kid, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
And I mean, and I think one of the beautiful things about Philip is that he's so humble, such a good person. I think he can go really, really far.
Yeah.
And he's 17.
It's impressive. One thing I'd say about Todd, I mean, Toddy, he seems like a guy, at least, like, obviously ultra competitive, super gifted athlete, but he is also he puts out positive energy into the world. Like he's lighthearted, he's dancing, he's goofing around.
And this is why I like him so much.
Yeah, I appreciate that about him. Like as much as I like Jonas more, I appreciate that Toddy's, he's kind of like, if you look back in the day of Lance, like Lance was just kind of a jerk to everybody. And Toddy I think he has more respect for everybody. Although it's competitive, he appreciates the rivalry and still is doing all the fist bumping and everything.
Yep. And as I said, even if I met Toddy and he wasn't a cyclist, and I met him as a person, I would like him.
Yep.
So that's a lot to say about anybody, right? So yeah, how many bikes do you have now? When you see a crash run, but
man, well, I think I have 16 in my garage.
What?
But they're kids' bikes.
Okay.
Yeah, not mine. I mean, the correct number of bikes everybody knows is N+1. But
right.
What do I have? So my main bike is an NB Fray. So when I got into the accident last July,
did you hurt anything?
No, I mean, fortunately, it was just road rash. A lady ran a stop sign in Kenilworth and hit me, and I was recording at the time. Ironically, so I had it all on video. But I have the Fray, my cracked Factor Ostro frame. I have a Salsa Muckluck fat bike. I have a Ritchie Breakaway cross bike. I have what else do I have? I have a 7 Cycles titanium frame and Axiom XL from 2012. That's I got from Bella Smith as well. So
it's a rim brake or a disc brake?
It's rim brake, yeah. I mean, it's crazy I originally had a Cervelo RS. That was my first carbon road bike. My very first road bike was the Fuji Roubaix from Performance Bike. I don't have the Cervelo or Fuji anymore. So, I mean, for me, the 7 is the trainer bike. I ride the Fray, which has been I think that bike has really got me back to enjoying riding more because I'm running 34s on it. I ride 34s on the road. I can get on the trail, no problem. It can handle everything I need to throw at it. It's more comfortable, but it's still fast. I mean, they say it's 3 watts slower than the Melee, and I was like, should I get a Melee? Should I get a Fray? Like
3 watts. Ooh.
Yeah, like I'm an old guy.
At our level, 3 watts.
Yeah, like I'm not going to be at the pointy end of any real true super fast group rides anymore. I was like, I'll take the Fray and be more comfortable. And it's interesting. Like at my age, like spending more time on the bike leads to more enjoyment for me. So any bike that's a little bit more comfortable and can handle the bigger tires. Yeah, that's the way to go. So.
Yeah, I got comfortable bike and I got stiff bikes, but I'm working on going back to aluminum. So I'm working on something. So let's see if that can come out.
I'm excited to see that when that comes out. Yeah.
This will be my first bike with electronic shifting and everything too. Because all my bikes here is either everything right here looking at, they're all rim brake and they work. And my one disc brake bike is actually on my trainer.
Do you prefer rim brake or do you prefer disc or not have an opinion? Yeah.
I prefer anything that will stop my bike.
Okay.
I mean, that's basically it. And we talk about the Chicago being flat. I don't think it make a big difference.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Rim brake versus disc brake.
Yep.
And if it's rain, I go on Zwift.
Yeah.
Problem solved.
Okay.
The other day we went on the Wednesday night ride and it was raining. And oh my God, I was so annoyed with the disc brake bikes.
They're more finicky.
So loud.
Sure.
Everybody. And then the problem was, one person touched their brake to slow down a little bit, just to, and then everybody started hitting their brake because they hear the sound and their brain tell them, oh, I should hit my brake too. Yeah. So all of a sudden, and it's stopping.
Yeah.
It's just like and I was like, in the rain, I was like, nah, my brake wasn't making any sound. And I was stopping okay. Because once it gets dry, so what I do when I'm in the rain, in a group ride, I keep on tapping my brakes a little bit to keep the wheels dry.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So when it comes time to stop, I can stop easily. And it's not this loud. I mean, I could not believe how loud the Peloton was. I'm like, oh my God. And you guys want me to get this brake? But anyway, we can debate all these things about rim brake, disc brake. But again, for me, anything stops the bike.
Yeah.
I've never used DI2 shifters as yet because my rule is that I only ride in one gear. So
One gear, fast.
one
yes.
gear, right? And then it changes the gear just as how it changes our stuff. And then my mechanical stuff will never run out of battery.
Yeah.
I've seen so many times people forgot to charge their stuff, or sometimes the temperature drop and the battery life drop really, really quick and all these different things. I'm like, with my bikes, I don't remember anything about that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely don't need all the bells and whistles. Wireless shifting is great. I've enjoyed that. I've got Red on my Envy. I do agree. I mean, generally, how we ride on the North Shore here, like rim brakes are fine. I love the modulation of rim brakes. Like, there's a little bit more maintenance with disc brakes and getting it to line and making sure it's not rubbing. They're great on downhills, though. I mean, when you go out west or you go, travel and are climbing mountains, like I like the predictability of disc brakes. But for me too, I mean, this is the other aspect of cycling that, like, the technology is constantly evolving. Like, as an engineer, like, I love the study or like the aspects of aerodynamics and looking at what teams are doing with helmets or skin suits. Like, it's like every day, every major race, there's something new to like learn from that. And like, I don't know, it's just a fun sport to geek out about from that aspect.
Oh yeah, I mean, we've seen bikes come from having ISOFlow to butt sniffer. I mean, whatever you want to call these different things. It's like, do we really need those?
Yeah.
Right? But hey, you put these back in a wind tunnel and it says you gain 5 watts for the pros. 5 watts is a lot over 4 hours for those guys, right? That's a lot
for sure
per mile.
Yeah.
And those guys are doing over 40K, right? Easy. That's your pace. So for you and I, for the mortals who bike 30 kilometers or whatever, 24 miles an hour, which is kind of still fast, those are doing 27, 28, 29, then yes, it makes a difference because it adds up. But and for these tours, every what they say
everything matters.
Everything matters.
Yeah.
I mean, I think one guy, I forgot his name, he had like a special S-Works bike made for him just for the climb.
I didn't see that one.
I forgot his name, but I saw it in a group of men in Discord. They said he had like a special S-Works made just for the climb.
I mean, I saw what they did with Tade's bike. I mean, that to me, it's cool to think about the competitive edge that pro athletes that are riding the tour or in the Peloton are looking to do. I mean, there's no shortage of technology, rabbit holes to go down when it comes to professional bike racing. So it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, and then you saw the new Factor wide.
I saw that. Yeah, I mean, like
he did something on your channel.
Yeah, I made the guy that celebrated when he won. I made a video on that, but yeah, it's interesting to see. I mean, I don't know. It'd be really interesting to see if the UCI relaxed some of the rules, how the bikes would change, or how the aerodynamics would change. That's an interesting part of the sport. Is like there is some cap on like what manufacturers can do with the equipment and whatnot. I mean, what's going on with helmets these days? I don't quite understand. Like, I'm not that I'm a purist and like, we should all go back to taking helmets off and, wearing just caps and stuff like that. But I do think the helmets have gotten a little out of hand now. Like, at what point is it there to protect your head versus really just like make you that much more aerodynamic?
Or it just makes for good talking points. I mean, the last time I saw they had a picture with Jonas next to a picture of a mushroom head guy. They're like, where did I see this before? Like, mushroom headed, or they have stuff from like Star Wars or whatever, all these memes, but that's what the world is in now. We're just get caught up in all this. But yeah, let's see. But maybe it's because they want to keep the playing field level. Yeah. Because if you have more money, like UAE or, Visma, they can put all this money into technology, and other team can't do it. They can never compete. Right?
That's true. I mean, it's a little bit of chicken and egg. Like, if you got the money, you can take advantage of all that technology and equipment sponsorship. So
I mean, the last time I said that Tadej Pogacar's bike is UCI legal, or will be because it's like 35 grams below UCI weight, 35 grams. Because I think bikes need to be like 7.9 kilograms or something like that. 7.5 maybe, and his was like 7.465 or something like that. You're like, wow, amazing. But I mean, that's something to say for safety because of the handlebar length can be this long or this short and blah 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 things, which is fine. But my God, some of these rules, don't know.
I don't know. Yeah,
but at our level, don't have to worry about it.
You don't have to worry about that in Chicago. You don't need a super light bike because pretty much everything's flat. So
exactly.
Nice. Yeah.
good way to stop your bike, and and the main thing in Chicago is just be nice to people.
Yeah.
That's one of the main things that drives us. So do you have like a favorite group ride that you like to go on? You say going like this, what you're doing now, but which would you say when you're like, if somebody's gonna come to Chicago, say, come to Chicago, go on this ride?
That's a good question. I mean, I'm kind of like, for me, it's a lot of like what my time allows for these days. Like, I wouldn't recommend people to just hop on the fastest group ride on a Saturday. I mean, I think if you want to get the experience of like riding in Chicago, like the Monday night ride is a fun ride to do. I mean, it can get up to 100 people, riding on a Monday night, which is, can be a lot. And so if you're not used to riding in groups that big or going at that speed, but I think that's a good sense for like the community and cycling. And if you want to, hit the 7-Eleven afterwards, that's great. But I mean, there are any number of group rides to try to hop on. If you go to Chicago Group Rides, the website, I don't know who put that together, but whoever you are,
it's Half-Acre guys.
Is it? Yeah, I mean, kudos to them, because I've pointed people that I work with and their husbands are riders, and they're out in like Elgin or whatever. I'm like, if you're looking for group rides, just go check out that site and find one, reach out to somebody, and figure out what might fit for your needs. So for me, it's just any group ride where you got people that are putting out positive energy and enjoying each other's company and get to know people. Like, I think that's the great part about cycling is people of all different shapes, sizes, athletic experience, and you can get together in Chicago to ride together.
I mean, there was a couple weeks ago, there was a naked ride here, right? You saw that one?
I did not see that one.
In downtown Chicago, there was actually it was a naked ride. Like almost everybody in the group in the ride were actually naked, everything out, like everything.
I mean, that doesn't surprise me. Yeah, you wouldn't find me on that.
I know some people were asking, are you going to this ride? I mean, like 2 or 3 weeks ago. There's a bunch of pictures. I think the Critical Mass website, Instagram, had a couple far distance videos and stuff and hiding stuff. But you look at a naked ride.
That would be one that would get me banned from Twitch if I brought the camera. So you won't see me on that one. Yeah.
Okay, we don't want to get him banned. Okay, but yeah, there was, interestingly.
That's cool.
Have you ever been to the Critical Mass rides?
I haven't done those. No. Yeah. I've known about them for years, but haven't done that. There used to be the late night ride. Do they still do that?
I think they have. I think they have some.
Coming back to, like, I used to work as a freelance photographer. When I graduated from Northwestern, I worked for the newspaper that last like spring.
So wait. So were you one taking all those pictures of Spider-Man?
No, I'm not Peter Parker. No, I'm just Tom Pelotom, whatever. I'm not Peter Parker. But I used to shoot for the school newspaper, and then I actually freelanced and shot professional sports in Chicago from like 2006 to 2010. So I used to shoot Cubs games, Sox games. I was on the sidelines, shot Bears games. You've
met a lot of players.
I played with guys that went to the NFL. I've met guys on the sidelines. I've had like photos in Sports Illustrated from back in the day from like Cubs games and stuff like that. So I used to do like other freelance work.
You're saying that your picture made Sport Illustration?
Correct. Yeah. There's a photo from like 2009 of Aramis Ramirez when he was still on the Cubs. Like, I had a full page, like Aramis Ramirez hit a home run against the Sox, and
that was your picture.
Yeah, my credits on there. So like, whatever, awesome. Small potatoes, but like that was like, I've always been into sports, so you can kind of see the story of.
To you, it's small, but that's pretty cool, man.
It was all right. Yeah.
I mean, that's Sports Illustration. That's pretty awesome.
Playing sports, being a photographer, getting into cycling, being an engineer, like you can see how kind of all that comes together, which is kind of part of the Pelotom, like cameras, cycling, videography, if you will. So that's fun stuff to me. Yeah.
So who did you play that went to the NFL?
So I played with a guy, Napoleon Harris, who's from Chicago, at Northwestern. He was a linebacker. He was drafted in the first round. Went to the Raiders and went to the Super Bowl, I think his freshman year, and then he played for the Vikings. My sophomore year roommate at Northwestern was a guy named Jason Wright, which if you follow pro sports, Jason was the first African-American president of an NFL franchise. He was the president of the Washington Commanders, and he actually led them through the rebrand from the Redskins to the Commanders. Like, he led that.
But that's going to go back now, actually.
Say that again?
It's going to go back to the Redskins again.
I did hear about that. Yeah, I did hear about that. We'll see about that. I think there's more pressing issues in the world than renaming a team back. But, Jason played in the NFL for a few years. He was my room. Like, Jason, one of the most amazing human beings I've ever met. It's like 98th percentile in the MCAT at Northwestern. Was an all Big Ten athlete. went to the NFL, played in the NFL for 6 years, came out, went to McKinsey and Company, worked there, and then became president of the Commanders. And now he's leading a women's sports organization out in California. But I've had the very fortunate opportunity. All my real close guy friends are guys that I played football with at Northwestern, guys that stood up in my wedding. And so I've had the privilege of doing some cool stuff.
At your wedding, did your best man say, "Hey, you look very nervous. If you can't kiss the bride, I'll do it for you"?
That has not happened. No. There was a 50% chance I was going to fumble the rings when they got handed to me, but fortunately, I held on.
Yeah. No, awesome. No, that was one of the funniest things I've ever seen. When the guy, saw this thing, and the guy was like, "Hey, you look nervous. Okay, if you can't kiss the bride, I'm your best man. I'll do it for you." And I'm like, one day, if I will be my best man, I'm gonna pull that line.
That's pretty good.
that was too funny. So you mentioned about all these different things that you do. What are you doing? What do you do now for work?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I work for Medline Industries, which is a medical supply distributor. We're based out of Northfield. People probably know them from like Waukegan and Willows, where the headquarters at. And I lead our IT team there that supports the sales organization. So you could think of like what I do is putting software products in the hands of our sales reps or customers to help them sell better, or work with Medline on any issues they're facing with products we're selling them, distributing to them, etc. So it's a lot of data analytics, software development, I love what I do. I'm an engineer, so I didn't really get into software through education. Like I was a biomedical engineer at Northwestern. I would describe myself as kind of like, I was probably like a B- engineer, but like an A problem solver, figure outer type of person. So like when it comes to the cycling and live streaming technology, like I'm good at tinkering and figuring out ways to make things work. And I've kind of parlayed that into a pretty decent career at Medline, and it's been there for 14 years now. And kind of worked my way up to leading and into the IT leadership team there. So it's been a great journey. Yeah,
that's awesome. And again, just reading out your house. So always the whole AI boom affecting your industry.
Yeah.
Or are you working with that?
Yeah. So we're working on
leveraging.
Yeah, we're working on AI software products for customers as well as our sales reps. So I think there's a tendency to kind of like hype AI as like being able to solve world hunger. I think what I've been fortunate to do at my company is, apply AI in practical ways that really help people solve problems more tangibly instead of like trying to solve world hunger. So we've taken a very practical approach of like, how can I, predict a better fulfillment date on something that's backward, like stuff that we all face with Amazon. Like when are you going to get that product in if it's backward or whatever? We've done stuff like that. And, we're looking at leveraging generative AI in a lot of different scenarios. So it's been a really fun place to kind of, see the evolution of technology and the application of AI. It's been cool. Yeah.
Oh, that's again, I'm just learning about exactly what you do.
Yeah.
So,
Anybody that wants to talk tech and AI, happy to do that. So hit me up on a ride.
Man, we're in a fast evolving world now. I mean, so we're talking about all these different things with biking and how things are changing, and airness and saving 5 watts, going from. Back in the days, you're probably riding like a 19 millimeter tire back in the days, the Jetson days, right?
Yeah, like 19s, 21s, riding. I had Cosmic Carbone Ultimate tubular tires. Those things were fast, but hard as a rock. I mean, it's cool like using things like Copilot and ChatGPT today to research stuff. I mean, I do that with a lot of the technology I use on my live stream. Should I use this modem or that modem or router? Like which one has better antennas? Like all that stuff's at your fingertips these days. Like there's no excuse to not be able to learn something, because like the internet is just easily explorable in a conversational way, which is cool. And it's the world's changing pretty fast. You gotta embrace it.
Yeah, that's the key. We got to embrace it, because again, going from when you tell somebody, oh, I'm riding a 21 millimeter back in the days, like, oh no, 19 is the best, blah blah. And then with 25, 25 is better than 28, and now 32.
It's really funny the commentary you get. Like, I mean, I do a lot of Instagram reels that are more just like humor, satire, or whatever. But like people really get, they take bold stances or have like strong positions on all you ever need is a 28. Like I make a joke about riding 34. It's like ride whatever you want. Like it actually,
of course,
I don't care. Like whatever works for you. And, you know, like you want to ride fast, you want to ride slow, you want to ride big tires, you want to ride skinny tires. Like
if it works for you,
yeah,
go for it.
I enjoy any part of whatever you do that brings you joy on the bike.
The only thing I'll say though, guys, if you're not riding GP 5000, we can't be friends. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But GP 5000 are some great tires. I ain't gonna lie. But you don't have to ride them. There's many other tires out there. But that's the new fad now. Like everybody ride GP 5000.
Do you ride tubeless or you ride tubes?
Still with tubes.
You still with tubes?
I mean, I one day I'll transition. But from everybody I've talked to so far, is like when they work, and when they don't, they don't. And if I have a tube, I can stop.
Yeah.
I can interact. I can take it out. I can put it in the can. I can use whether it's a Cycle Plus to blow it up, which is an electronic.
Yep.
Whatever. Now you can use like
got one of those. Those are great. Yeah.
CO2 valve, and you can put it on and interact and still have a connection to the bike.
Yeah.
So that's one of the beautiful things I still like with some of these things. I'm not yet. Maybe one day, you know, I don't know.
Knock on wood. I mean, I've been riding tubeless for a couple of years now. The first tubeless flat I ever got was, you know, unfortunately it was right at where the rim was. And so I couldn't patch. I couldn't, you know, use the dyno plug to repair it. But I mean, it's super comfortable. I also understand, like, I would rather have a tube if I did get a flat on the road, just because I know how all that works, and I haven't had to really use a dyno plug and repair a tubeless flat. So, you know, to each their own. I know guys that are like way better riders than me, and they swear I'm going to ride tubes. I know other guys that love tubeless tires for the comfort, and it always works for them when they get some kind of flat, it seals or whatever. So that's part of the beauty of cycling, is like there's no right way to do it.
Correct.
There might be many wrong ways to do it, especially if you're endangering people, but there's no real right way. Like, it has to be done this way. You know?
Yeah, and if you feel comfortable with the technology, just use it, and you know, and that's it. I mean, again, one thing maybe because I can't afford tubeless tire now, so I just stick to what I can afford. And most of my tires are my rim set are like CCN, Chinese no name.
Yeah.
It's not like any big brands and stuff. And for me, they work. My friends, you should get like this brand wheel or that brand wheel. I'm like, bro, I'm riding a CCN rim, and I'm keeping up with you. So what's your point?
I think I mean, you would be a great example. I mean, every ride I'm on with you, like, you're there attacking the front or like making a difference on the town line sprints, which, hey, take a step back. We're racing for town line sprints on group rides. Like, it's fun. Like, there's no right, there's no real right. There's many right ways to ride your bike. And like, you don't need to spend umpteen $million on the highest end thing to do and enjoy riding your bike.
Exactly. And I have friends who try to tell me that I wanted to get this brand and that thing. I'm like, but you're telling me all these different things, and I'm riding the bike that I'm riding, and I'm not tooting my horn, but I'm way faster than you are. So,
I mean, so legs matter a lot.
Exactly. And I tell them, you can tell me all these different things, but my thing is, I put the work in.
It is about work. Yeah.
Okay. I put the work in. No excuses. I never complain about Zwift. I've done over 6 hours on Zwift. Oh, I'll never do this. I'm like, well, that's the difference between you and I.
Yeah.
Right.
And to me, that's another part of the sport, is like, I don't know, there's a resiliency, a grit aspect to riding. And we talked about suffering and pain and stuff. And it's like, you can buy nice things that, theoretically are shaving watts off. Like, none of that. Like, you got to put in the work. And like, I think there's a story like that I share with my kids, or, you know, want my kids to understand, is like, in life, you're going to go through hard things. The only way to get through those hard things is to go through them. And a lot of the stories or the lessons in cycling, like, even though we're just dudes riding bikes on group rides,
a bunch of mammals.
There's a lot of people out there. Yeah, man, a lot of people out there that are legit racers, and so it's a whole different story. But like, there's no real way to get better at something than to put in the work and persevere through the hard stuff. And you find that on the bike. There's no way to get over the hill other than to go up the hill. And that's one of the things I appreciate about the sport. And
as you get to the top of that hill, you look up, there's another hill to climb again. And then you learn something new, and you just like figure things out. And not just in cycling, but in life in general.
For sure. Right? Yeah.
And really, I've been putting in the work I've been running biking for 5 years now, and I've been putting in the work. And I learned it from running. Like, I couldn't run a 10-minute mile, and I had to put the work in. And all the guys who were destroying me out there, because again, I said before, I'm Jamaican, right? So I'm all speed, no endurance. So, and the track, 100 meter, 200 meter, kill those guys. 5K, 25 minutes. Those guys, 17, 16 minutes. I'm like, what? That makes no sense.
Mhm.
But over time,
Different muscle
and different
fibers,
muscle
yeah.
group, and I start putting the work in. I'm like, oh, all of a sudden now I'm close to those guys running wise. And look, because it comes with time and experience and putting in the work in. And for the past 3 years, started biking in 2000, end of 2019, right before the pandemic. And again, it has been putting in a lot of work, man, to get to where I'm at. With those fast twitch Jamaican muscle,
Yeah.
helping a lot.
How would you compare riding to running? Do you enjoy one more than the other?
No,
Yeah.
no, actually. So for me, again, I guess I'm in different phase in my life. Where when I was in Miami, I was just at a nice running community, and I joined those guys, and it was fantastic. I mean, we just run 2,000-3,000 miles a year. That's running. That's running.
My knees ache just thinking about
just
that.
running. Yeah. And I came here, and I joined the run club here, but man, I just amazing people, but I just didn't have a connection to the Miami folks that like here to there. And I'm like, man, like there's a part of my cycle was like, man, am I replacing these people subconsciously? And it just couldn't get past that. And then I'm like, oh, I always want to get on a bike. True story, in Miami, before I even picked up a bike, I had a Mongoose mountain bike. And a friend of mine, Randy Horner, he's the head coach for the FIU swim team.
Okay.
He was on a tri bike. Mind you, I'm not clipped in, I'm nothing like that. And he was flying on his tri bike, not realizing I was keeping up with him. Okay. Mm-hmm. And he made a turn and the beer cut bridge to go across, not realizing I was behind him, and I clipped his back tire and went down. Because he didn't expect me to be behind him.
Sure, yeah.
And that was I think it could be a good biker. But again, that wasn't a Mongoose mountain bike. Okay? Yeah. And then when I moved here, I was able to buy some bikes. I mean, you know what? I was running, but I'm like, I was on the bike and go longer, faster. I'm going to save my joints for later in life.
Yeah.
So I just picked up biking, and I think I'm a way better biker than I was a runner. But comparing them, no comparison. They're two different states in my life. But now I just get to meet new people and have fun time with everybody.
Yeah. I mean, not that I know many people that are like seriously into running, but I would tend to believe you're not going to find people in their 70s like doing a lot of hardcore running. I don't know. No. It's great to see.
Correct.
It's great to see on the Monday night, the Wednesday night rides.
All ages.
Again, ages, shapes, sizes. Like it's truly, I would love if I'm in my 70s and still able to do group rides. Like that is part of, like, my knees are shot from playing years of football and having meniscus tears. Like I can't even imagine trying to run a marathon or anything anymore, but I can keep riding my bike. Like my knees can handle it. So.
And I ride with a group of guys, and sometimes the Plaza guys from Plaza, a lot of these guys are close to their 70, in their 70. And I'm telling you, if you fall asleep, they will drop you. Okay, I know a few of those guys.
Yeah.
They're so strong. They're like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's my goal in life too. I want to have many, many birthdays to come. So, and I want to do it healthy. And I've learned from my running friends or guys who play sport that you have problem with, their Achilles, their meniscus, all this is a problem. Like, you know what? If you run, low impact, and you will save your running life. So I can go back to running anytime I want. I start putting in about like a month of running again. I won't get back to my prime days, but I'll get back to being a good, solid runner again. Yeah. So I'm going to save it because I want to do Ironman one day. I never done triathlons like you did, but I did relays when I was in Miami. I was the swimmer for the team or the runner because I never biked, never won a bike.
Gotcha.
So I either would run or swim, and we would actually win the Max Cycle Trilogy Series in Miami. I was doing that stuff.
That's pretty awesome. I would love to see.
I'd love the medal up there too.
I would love to see you. Yeah, you doing an Ironman would be pretty cool to see. I think
it's coming. It's coming. Yeah. I want to do it with my wife, and I got my tri bike ready to go. I don't use it as much. I'm sorry, but my wife gonna get a tri bike, and we're gonna start training for a tri bike. And we have young kids. Our youngest is 6 years old now, so when the kids get older, we can actually do more. My wife is getting back to cycling now and every different thing. So we're trying to do more together as a couple, and let's see it go. But one day I'll do it.
Love that.
That's my goal. And it's if I'm in Chicago, we're gonna do Wisconsin because I don't have to travel and pay all the excess money to ship stuff and do all these different things.
That is nice. Yeah.
We'll just basically camp and then go to the race.
Yeah.
That's what we did the last time when my partner did it. We were camping. We just drove to the race, which is like about 15, 20 miles away. Then did that, then went back to the campground and then chill out.
That's not bad.
Yeah, awesome. As we wrap up, we've covered many, many things here. Anything you want to leave us with before we, like, what's your motivation? Anything you want to leave us with, to tell Chicago, hey, let's keep it going.
Yeah, I mean, I think what I would just say is hopefully you got a sense for for me, riding is just all about having fun, meeting new people. It's been an honor to just be a part of the show here. And I'm generally on the quieter side. So if you're out on the ride, like say hello, like I'd love to get to know you. And I enjoy meeting new people, new experiences on the bike. And for me, it's just about having fun, putting out positive energy in the world and enjoying the ride and kind of sharing that experience of all being in it together, and a little bit of competitiveness is fun too. So.
Yeah, and I must say, man, it's a pleasure to get to know you. And we met on the road and met your common friend, and just to see you. He's always strapped up, not like that. And I mean like that. His camera stuff, he's all strapped up. He's out there doing his thing and filming. So again, as I said, if you see him, Pelotom, that's what he goes by. We all know him here, and he's like, he's really helping to shed some light in Chicago cycling, and I think that's why you're to come on the show and talk to us. And it's important. It means a lot to me and everybody else to see you out there doing your thing. And thanks for coming and sharing with us. And before you close
we can't
out,
forget this.
We can't forget
little
this.
Swag for you.
Look what he bought me, a nice little swag. This is his logo. Who designed this logo?
I did. Yeah.
Man, he's a logo guy. Do you design a logo for people?
No, not well. I can. That took me way too long, but it worked out okay.
If I'd known, I'd have gotten it, because the logo that we designed, that was actually going back and forth, a friend of mine, and we finally came up with it.
Yeah. You kind of got like the chain sprocket thing going.
Yeah, and those legs are my legs, by the way.
That's why they're big. They got a lot of power to them. Yeah.
Yeah. So I got a shirt. So thank you for the swag. I'll be wearing this. As I get out, I'm wearing this for sure to bed or something. But you'll still be wearing it. Guys, thank you so much for joining us again. We're gonna keep it going. We got amazing people in the network. And as he said before, he's a kind of a quiet guy, but if you see him out there, say hi to him. You'll see him with his on Monday Night Ride with all his equipment going on stuff. And a couple weeks ago, I think his GoPro fell off and tumbled right at the Baha'i, and it filmed everything. Yeah. That was pretty amazing to see that thing. And it broke a little bit, but he got footage, and it was so funny and hilarious. So yeah, guys, again, great times, fun people. Let's keep it going. As I come to a close, as I'll say, keep the miles and smiles going until we meet again.